Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Part-Time CEO podcast. If you don't know my work and you've stumbled across this podcast, or you do know my work, you've never seen me face to face or listened to any of my past podcasts or anything like that. My name is Lou. I am a marketing strategist, a business mentor, and lots of other things. So wear lots of different hats, and this is part of, I guess, what you'll discover along the way when you tune into these episodes. So what I can tell you is that I was not expecting to be recording this episode 2 years later than I planned. But here we are, right? So a lot has happened in life, a lot has happened in business, a lot has happened in the in-between. And naturally, again, that's what we will uncover along the way where relevant. But a lot wiser, lots of different thoughts and mentalities, still an incredible network, which I can't wait to bring some of my incredible friends and business colleagues and mentors on to share some of their business words of wisdom and life words of wisdom with you too. So reverse back to 2 years ago where I decided I would launch or relaunch my podcast. So I originally had a podcast, gosh, it must be like 4 or 5 years ago now, monetize or strategize to monetize. This is in my business era of strategy. Do X, Y, and you get Z, right? Post every day, do this, do that, right? I was totally on board with all the generic marketing and business ideas. And I won't lie, they worked. That's why I promoted them and that's why I preached them. Not everything I agreed with. I am not a get up at 4 a.m. type of girl. I don't do cold ice baths. I don't go swimming in cold water. There are some things that I put limits on because I like sleeping. Actually, I just really like sleep. And I like other things which help my life, my business, and everything else move forward. So, but there are some things I really preached, which I don't so much anymore. And there are other things that I didn't, and I might. That's the joy of being a human, right? You learn, you grow, you get to change your opinions and so forth. So now, when I decided to relaunch this a couple of years ago, I wanted it to be different. I have changed significantly in the last couple of years. So maybe in hindsight, probably a great thing that it didn't, actually, it is a great thing that it didn't get relaunched because I just simply didn't have the time or energy or mental capacity to be able to do it. I was deep in client work. My business was full and life was really, really busy in a way that I don't think I appreciated at the time. I had just been joyriding all over New Zealand. So, for 2 years, I went house sitting and traveled around New Zealand and eastern parts of Australia, trying to decide where I wanted to live post-COVID, post returning back to New Zealand. And life was great. I reflect back on that, and actually, even at the time, I questioned why in the world would I stop living my life like that. But I did because I wanted to be more grounded. I wanted to have more friends and family around me and not just fleeting moments with people as I traveled from place to place. But because my world for 2 years just revolved around traveling, catching up with people and work, I thought I had all this time and capacity to be able to relaunch my podcast, which just really wasn't the case. We will talk a lot about this over the last couple of years. There's been some incredible highs. And there's also been moments where I realized that just the way I was building my business really wasn't sustainable. I have a burnout stick that wags me across the head. I don't shy away from the fact that I experience bouts of burnout. I'd like to say that I don't anymore, but I'm only human. Sometimes we fall back into our old patterns. And, and that can trigger some pretty challenging mental health challenges for me, which means I really need to, look after my health, and launching podcasts really wasn't high on the agenda at that point in time. So I was doing more, I was pushing harder, I was trying to keep up. And at the same time, life outside of business was asking a lot from me too. And this is the part I don't think we really talk about enough. Um, we talk a lot about growth, strategy, visibility, the hustle, how much people make, all these business conversations. But very rarely, at least I haven't been privy or had access to this, very rarely do I hear about the seasons that coexist with growing a business or with working in your job or your career, whatever it is that you choose to do. um, I we don't really talk so much about the moments where things shift, where they slow down or they feel heavier than they would expect or than we kind of expected them to feel. Um, and I really wanted this podcast to talk about business, but also life, because I have found through my journey over the last couple of years it really challenging at times because social media gives us access to people working, achieving goals. We can feel like failures when we're going through different seasons of our lives because we feel like we should be doing more, but we can't because our priorities are in different places. And I don't always necessarily feel like we talk about those priorities. Um, and we don't talk about how challenging it is. And I definitely felt really alone. I felt like at times I was the only one going through it. I now have a beautiful home